Welcome to the Kare For Kūpuna Podcast, where we dive into health, wellness, and vibrant living of our cherished kupunas. We are thrilled to take you on a journey exploring everything from health and wellness tips, deeply rooted in the spirit of Hawaii, to navigating the intricacies of retirement, preserving our rich culture heritage, and fostering vibrant communities for our elders.
Whether you're a kupuna yourself, a family member, a dedicated caregiver, or simply someone passionate about supporting and uplifting our elders, this podcast is for you. Each episode is crafted with love and the intention to inspire, inform, and celebrate the golden years. So sit back, relax, and join us on this meaningful journey as we care for kupuna. Welcome to this week's episode of Kare For Kūpuna, where we care for kupuna. I'm Trina.
And I'm Lonnie.
And we are your Kupuna Care Girls. Today we have the very special honor of having Laurie Adamshick with Rulon Adamshick LLC. Thank you, Laurie, for joining us.
Hi,
Thank you both. I appreciate the invitation.
So, Laurie, what does an elderly attorney do?
Well, we call ourselves elder care attorneys as opposed to elder law attorneys, although we are definitely involved in helping people prepare legal documents and solve issues that may involve legal issues. Our focus, though, is on helping people in a holistic way. A lot of the issues come up with aging. As we get older, we become a lot more vulnerable to accidents, falls, possible memory issues, and other types of chronic illnesses. Some people have serious chronic illnesses like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. And helping families make good decisions in helping their kupuna becomes part of our mission to help them get planned for and get good care.
That's awesome. So, Laurie, do you guys only represent elders?
We only represent older people. I usually say 65 and older, and we have a lot of clients that are in their 80s and 90s. But occasionally we have clients who are slightly younger. We have a client who has, I think she's not even 65, but she had early on Alzheimer's, and her partner was really struggling with how to care for her and how to get her the help she needed. So it happens at times that these issues come up before the age of 65, and they may affect a spouse or a partner who's also, at that age. So we do work with them as well.
Oh, that's nice. So I have a question. What if my parent does not have family nearby and to depend on? In that situation, what would you guys help with?
We have a lot of clients whose family is on the mainland. Kids go off to college and they don't come home except time. And for a lot of these folks, they don't have anybody checking up on them, except maybe the neighbors occasionally. And so we become kind of their, somebody called us their boots on the ground, basically. We've got a care coordinator who is a registered nurse case manager. He sees them every quarter, sometimes more frequently, makes a visit to the house or wherever they're living and checks on them health-wise, how they're doing in every way, because anything that affects quality of life, and then helps to solve problems and make recommendations to make them feel safer and more secure. And it's one of the ways that we look at this holistically, because I'm not a medical person. I'm an attorney. But because we have a medical person on staff, we can work together to look at all the issues that relate to health and help solve problems. Whenever there's a major diagnosis or health issue, it always ends up affecting finances and personal care decisions, and then ultimately legal authority. If you had a bad fall and you're in the hospital and you need someone to pay your bills, and you got to look at who's on the power of attorney. Is there a power of attorney? Who was named to do that? And are they familiar with where the financial accounts are? And if that fall results in short-term rehab and then perhaps discharge, where are they going to go? Can they go home? And if they can go home, are they going to need care? Is the health house safe? If home is not an option, then what are the options? Where are the places where they can go? They can get the care they need and the attention, have a good quality of life, and afford it, because finances, that's always part of the analysis. And so we look at all of these issues, legal, financial, personal care, to help them make good decisions.
Laurie, I noticed we went on your website and it's a lot of resources for the community. And I noticed that you have life care planning. Can you give us a quick overview of what life care planning is?
Yes. Life care planning, if you think about how people plan for college and they start saving, people plan for retirement. This is really a plan for what happens between the time you retire and the end of your life. And so we're looking at maybe start out healthy and independent and you're doing just fine and you're traveling and, all of that. But are you being proactive in preparing for the potential day that may come when you suddenly need more help? Your memory starts to slip, or you get a diagnosis that is going to affect your daily life. So we try to proactively prepare people in advance. But for those who are already dealing with some kind of a chronic illness, dementia, and some of the others I mentioned, and maybe you've had a stroke or got Parkinson's, we need to help you now implement a plan to plan for getting pay for good care, and have it be flexible enough so that as your condition changes over time, and a lot of these diseases are progressive, recommendations can change so that they will continue to meet your best quality of life. And so it's a plan, but it's really a planning process. We stay involved with our clients until the end of their lives for the most part, and continue to check in on them and update based upon how they're doing, now as we see them periodically. So that's life care planning.
I mean, we work with a lot of families and seniors, and they definitely would, need your help with that. Can you share any testimonials? And I'm sure there's a lot of stories, but if you have a story that you can share with us and the listeners.
I have a lot of stories. I think one of the first stories has to do with a lady who was moved into a care home after an accident. And at some point, her niece, who had been paying the care home bills, stopped paying. And it turned out she had become incapacitated, and there was not a alternate named on the power of attorney. So someone in the one of the social workers in this care home discovered that we had represented her years ago, called us, said, "Can you come out and see her? Maybe we can get the power of attorney updated." And we went to see her, and it turned out that she didn't really know who we were. She seemed confused. She had trouble hearing us. We sent our care coordinator at the time. We had a female RN who went to see her personally, looked at her chart, at her medications, determined that she was taking an awful lot of meds for an epilepsy problem that she'd had since she was a kid. And she also looked and noticed that the hearing aids were sitting on her bedside table with no batteries. So she talked to the doctor about adjusting the medications. The next visit, she brought batteries for the hearing aids. And when we went back out to see this lady, it was like night and day. She did not have dementia. She was not confused. She couldn't hear, but now suddenly she could hear. She remembered my partner immediately on site. And fortunately, we were able to revise the power of attorney to appoint her nephew. And with some help, we got her moved into a smaller care home where she really thrived. She was there with 4 or 5 other ladies. They formed a little club. And it was a great success because she had people kind of helping her through all of this. Mm-hmm. Her niece really didn't have the tools to do this. And so it was a real success story that we were able to step in, at that late stage of the game. But we've had people who were healthy and independent. We were meeting with a woman who's been our client for about 5 years, no diseases at this point, no chronic illnesses, and yet she got scammed online. And yeah, she's in her 70s. She lost about $50,000 to a scammer. And we had to go in and help her stop the bleeding, basically. Went with her to the bank, talked to the assistant manager, had her issue reports to the FBI, the Federal Communications Commission, and she even talked to the local sheriff in Kaneohe, where she lives. We did all we could. She changed her phone number. She changed all her passwords. And we kind of coached her through the process of stopping this and preventing it from happening in the future. So I'm now what is called a trusted contact with the bank. And if there are any questionable transactions above a certain dollar limit, they call me so that I can double check with her and we can make sure that she's okay, that there's not something else happening.
Thank you for sharing that, Laurie. And if our listeners and viewers want to reach out to you, what's the best contact information that you can share?
Well, just give me a call. The number is 808-393-6387. And we're also have a website that provides a lot of information, Rulon Adamshick.com. You can also find it, I believe, by putting in lifecareplanninghawaii.com. That's a key address.
Thank you, Laurie. Before we end our episode, we always like to end it with a riddle, a quote, or a question for our guest. And today, I want to ask you a question, Laurie. If you had to change your career, what would you do and
Mahalo
why?
for joining us on this episode of Kare For Kūpuna, where we explore health, wellness, and vibrant living for our cherished kupunas. We hope you found inspiration and valuable insights.
Remember, your support can make a difference. 20% of all proceeds from our podcast go to a nonprofit organization here in Hawaii dedicated to helping seniors in our community. If you'd like to contribute, visit our website at www.careforkūpuna.com and make a donation.
Are you a brand or business looking to align with our mission? Consider sponsoring our podcast. Visit our website for more information on sponsorship opportunities.
For those with stories to share, we invite you to
so
be a
lucky to
guest
have you,
speaker on
Laurie,
our
and thank you
podcast.
for
Head
sharing
over to our
such a
website to
valuable
express your interest
information
and become part of
to
the
our
conversation.
listeners.
Last
Thank
but
you
not
to our
least,
listeners for
stay
joining
connected
us on
with us
another
by
episode of
subscribing
Care
to
For
our email
Kūpuna,
list
where
and
we
following us on social
Aloha
media
meets
at
wisdom,
Care For
one
Kūpuna
podcast
with
at
a
a
K.
time.
Join
Until
the Care
next
For
time,
Kūpuna
Ahoiho.
community to stay
Ahoiho.
updated on all things related to health, culture, and creating vibrant communities for our elders.
We appreciate your time and look forward to welcoming you back on the next episode of Care for Kūpuna.